What's up, friends, and happy Friday. Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com with Elijah Schmidt, Tyler Brewer behind the cameras today. Alongside Dan Courtwright, I am Sean Kellerman, getting your weekend going here on Rock Chalk Sports. Got a lot of great content for you today on the show, and it's a big day. Tonight, the Corinth Square KU kickoff. Really
That's
excited
right.
for that. I'm going to be out there along with some comrades from Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's 6 to 9 tonight at Corinth Square in Prairie Village, brought to you by partners 810 and Kansas Nation Central Bank. So shout out to them as well. But looking forward to that. Coaches, players are going to be out there. Dan Fitzgerald, the head baseball coach for KU, will be out there. Of course, Big J, Baby J, vendors, family-friendly activities with inflatables, food trucks, all sorts of great things tonight. So I'll be heading over there very shortly after we get off air. And, make sure that you're locked into Kansas Nation on socials. Kansas Nation on Facebook and at The Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Looking forward to that. It's all about KU football right now, and we're going to hear from a couple Jayhawks here in the opening segment, David Santiago and Eamon Biggie Smalls. And then next segment, we're going to hear from Joe Dineen, defensive ends coach for KU. Looking forward to hearing from him. A new dad, Matt Tate, asked him about him.
Is that all he's referenced as? Is the
Also
defensive
an
ends
All-American,
coach?
Joe Dineen.
Yeah. Former All-American linebacker.
We're going to hear from Coach Dineen, and then we're going to hear from Jim Panagos, defensive tackles coach for KU as well. That's a room that, of course, was hurt a little bit with injury when Trayvon McAlpine was injured, and now they're going to have to kind of pick up the slack without him, but a lot of good talent.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was going to wait
You're
until
sniffing.
You smell that? Because I smell something brewing.
Something's brewing with Tyler Brewer. He's going to join the show before we hear from Coach Panagos, and he's going to tell us some really, 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 really interesting stuff. So can't wait to see what Tyler has on tap, if you will, for Something's Brewing with Tyler Brewer, a segment we do all the time.
All the time.
Here.
A
It's one of
classic
our-
segment
it's
that
one
we
of our
have called
favorite
Something's
segments.
Brewing with Tyler Brewer.
Yeah, absolutely. So
A fan
we'll have
favorite,
that.
really.
Speaking of not fan favorites, Sports Stock Market will be coming up after that. Dan Courtwright has assembled a list of things going on in the world of sports that he will fill us in on. There's some football things on there, some more video board things as well.
There is.
I mean, a near disaster. Shout out to Daktronics.
Near disaster. Shout out to Daktronics. If they wouldn't, I mean, I don't know. We'll get into it.
Nobody was injured, I don't think.
Nobody was injured, which is great, but a unfortunate scoreboard incident in O'Fallon, Missouri, I believe. Also, I have an amazing story about a guy wearing an Eastern Michigan shirt in a Manhattan, Kansas bar that I wanted to get. I'm actually starting it off with Sports Stock Market with this. It's incredible. If you've seen it, it's on Reddit r/Mid-American, so it's on the Mac Reddit subreddit.
Okay.
Which is awesome. But yeah, shout out to this guy who wore an Eastern Michigan shirt in a Manhattan bar, and some guy tried to fight him because of it, and this guy wound up winning the fight. It's a wild story. I'll read it.
What a weird deal. After Sports Stock Market, we're going to hear from the law firm Off the Edge for KU. Alex Bray, Leroy Harris, and then Blake Herold as well. So the law firm, Bray, Harris, and Herold will get to you.
Herold, Bray, Harris.
No, you got to end with Bray, I think.
Harold, Harris, and Bray.
Yeah,
that's good.
for sure. I don't know what it is, but you got to end that way. And then we're going to close out the show taking a look at the Baylor football Bears as KU will face them, and we are going to continue a record forecast for Baylor. This has been an interesting trend so far. Dan Courtwright has selected Kansas to win every game against the first three opponents that they will be facing in the Big 12 Conference. KU will go to Wembley Stadium, knock off Arizona State. They'll go to Utah, knock off Utah.
Yeah, I just have a feeling about it.
Before Kansas even plays a home conference game at David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, they will have a sparkling record of 3-0.
3-0 on the road. What's that going? That's just the way it's shaking out. Is that so crazy? I don't know. Am I crazy? New segment idea. All right, whatever.
Interesting. Yeah. So we'll take a look at Baylor. Maybe the Bears will clip KU in Lawrence. You have to wait until you find out. We didn't.
You
do
never
game
know.
Picks. Didn't do game picks last night. It'd be pretty sickening, though, to do game picks for NFL preseason. There was a slew of games last night.
I actually saw something, back in 2017, whenever the Browns went over. Apparently, they were undefeated in the preseason.
Oh, really?
That year. Yeah, isn't that
I didn't
fun?
know that.
So August football always lies. But shout out to Levi Wentz for getting a catch yesterday for the Steelers. He had one reception for 9 yards, 2 targets. But yeah, shout out to Levi Wentz. And tonight, for the first Friday night since What was the last Friday game that Kansas played? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Jalen Daniels plays football once again tonight for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're probably going to see him quite a bit because Jake Browning is hurt. So they have the Mizzou guy, Connor, Belziak or something. I can't remember his last name. Some Mizzou. He went to Mizzou and then he went somewhere else.
What is his name?
I have it somewhere.
Bazelak?
I
want to say
something.
That's it.
Yeah.
I want to say that's it.
Whatever. They have two
Bazelak.
quarterbacks for today. Funny enough, I'm a Mizzou guy and a KU guy. So we're going to see Jalen Daniels toss the old pigskin around for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Browns did go 0-16 in 2017, and I actually love the title of this article. Pat McManaman, which is a great name, wrote this ESPN on New Year's Eve back in 2017. Cleveland Browns make losing an art and forgettable 0-16 season. Apparently, in the last game,
they went undefeated in the preseason.
Apparently, in the last game of that 0-16 season, Corey Coleman dropped a pass from Deshaun Kaiser on 4th and 2 with 1:46
Kaiser,
left.
what a jump scare!
28-24, the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns.
What's
went
Deshaun
0-16.
Kaiser up to right now?
What
do you think he's up to?
Former
right now?
Notre Dame legend, right?
Yeah, I mean he was good at Notre Dame.
Yeah, man,
but I can't imagine he's doing much.
He played for
now.
4 seasons. He actually did play for the Packers after the Browns, so that was his rookie year. What a bummer.
Tennessee Titans, right now. Is that right?
No. He most recently played for them.
Most recently, that's correct.
Yeah, I think his career respectfully ended in 2020,
That makes
2021.
sense.
Anyway, so we're going to talk KU football. Really excited, like I said, tonight. Corinth Square. We're going to break down some of these defensive players for KU. Going to hear some video from them. David Santiago and Eamon Biggie Smalls we're going to have for you. Santiago, a guy who comes over from Michigan State. You've been high on him ever since Kansas got him. And again, providing some depth off the edge because we have the returning players. Harris is a big, imposing, NFL-ready type guy with his ability to, first of all, be of great size. He went from 238 to 272 pounds since he got here at Kansas. That's a big jump, and he's also one of the fastest players on the team. And then you've got Dak Brinkley, who, they said today, I think it was Coach Leipold said today, Dak's the fastest pass rusher that we have. So we're excited about him.
He said best.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome to speak so highly of Dak Brinkley. But, no, I'm super high on David Santiago. Yeah. And we talked to Calvin Clements today. We're going to hear that on Monday, the interview that I had with Calvin Clements. But Calvin Clements talked about going up against the defensive line. He specifically pointed out Leroy Harris and David Santiago. And as of right now, obviously there's 4 guys on that top line that you're really liking, as with Leroy Harris, Alex Bray, David Santiago, and Dak Brinkley. And you probably are going to have those guys at that, quote, they call it a stud position where, I mean, it's not really a 4-eye. They are just a true pass rusher. But with David Santiago and Alex Bray, you're probably going to have Alex Bray starting, but Lance said it today, there's going to be some rotation, like a lot of rotation on that defensive line, particularly in the middle, but on the outside too, because you have such a solid top 4.
It's interesting too because there's been a lot of chatter about Garrett Martin, who we haven't talked about a ton, but from a depth perspective, it sounds like he's going to have a really good future for KU. But let's hear from David Santiago first. Again, he comes over from Michigan State. Very different, Big 12, Big 10. Let's hear everything David said yesterday.
3 pounds a day. They show in our team meeting at 2, they show the list of everyone who's lost more than 2%, and it's a long list. These past 2 days, it's been a long list. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess then just camp-wise for you, what's it been like so far?
Yeah, fall camp. It's a bit of a grind as you go on, but it's been good. Obviously, a lot of football. Practice has been going well. Like you said, it's been warm. But yeah, just working on consistency. That's the biggest thing I want to see, especially Coach Dineen. Yeah.
Coach Dineen talked about your versatility and you're playing a little bit more stud now. Can you kind of compare and contrast what you're asked to do at rush for stud and kind of what the differences are?
Yeah, rush is a lot more open space. Quarters, you're in the quarter flat a lot, drop in more. Stud is a lot more in the 3-tech, 4-eye, taking on double teams, patting back against 350-pound guys, 315-pound guys, whatever. So, you have to be a lot more strong, I'd say, in stud, but I'm comfortable playing both, yeah.
What do you feel like in your game allows you to be serviceable, where the coaches trust you at both spots?
Just being able to understand the defense. The older you get, the smarter you get, or like the wiser, I guess. So we always say a smarter player is a better player. And so if you know both positions, you can add more value to the team.
Joe talked about improvement in the pass rush from you. Talk about that and how you got to that point.
Yeah, we worked a lot in the offseason this summer, almost every day, to be honest. Like the little things you wouldn't think about. We talked about, we had assistant Coach Arnick. He helped a lot with the pass rush, Coach Dineen. Just being relentless. You might win one on the first move, but the second move, the third move, that's when the sacks happen. That's when the pressures happen.
David, you guys are starting to go up against the offensive line quite a bit. Just talk about what do you see from those guys on the other side?
Yeah, that's a good question. With Coach Kotelnicki, it's a lot. I feel like it's more than we'll see against other teams with this game, pullers or whatever it may be. But it's good because I think it trains you for the season. Maybe the game will slow down in game. But yeah, they got a lot of good players on the whole line. It's good. It's fun to work against them every day.
You've been at Michigan State in the Big Ten. When you see the offense, do you see a lot more variety coming from them?
Yeah, it's funny because I did actually play against Coach K's offense last year at Penn State, and it's a lot similar. I remember game planning for that one. It was a lot of stuff, but yeah, it's a big difference, and I think it will be playing the season.
Coach DK has you guys doing a lot too, defensively. I guess at Michigan State, did you guys do as much mixing of fronts at Michigan State, or what's the process been like of getting into something like this where it's maybe a lot more complex in the front?
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot different. At Michigan State, we were just under front pretty much the whole time until third down. But being here, playing the 3-tech at stud, playing the 4-eye sometimes, like I said, taking double teams, and even playing rush. Being out in the quarter flat, it's a lot different. Yeah, there's a lot more variety. Yeah.
Is it, I don't want to say more fun because football's fun regardless, but is that challenge fun for you?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it. I think I said this in the spring too. I felt almost like handcuffed. I must at Michigan State, like the way you had to play, like you're always right here doing the same thing, but with the different positions, playing the different alignments, it's a lot more fun to play around, and then it improves your overall game as well.
For you guys as a room, where's Coach Dean really challenging you guys? You got to get into the dog days of camp, and you really need to think of it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We've talked about these past 2 days. It's been super hot. I think even in the practice script, we moved 2-minute in tempo towards the end of practice. Be able to win games in the fourth quarter. That's when it really comes down to. You can play good for 3.5 quarters, but you can lose a game on a 2-minute drive. So that's been the real focus.
David, last year they incorporated the defensive ends dropping more into pass coverage here. Have you ever had to do that much in your time?
Yeah, I did a little bit last year. We talked about it a lot. So I'm familiar with it. But I guess the quarters part, playing when I was playing rush, I was initially I had to really look and study it and understand it, but I feel comfortable with it.
Tell us a little bit about Leroy, Dak, some of the things you're seeing from those guys.
Yeah, I think our room, we got a lot of different bodies in there, a variety of players. Leroy, he's really big, he's really fast too. He looks like an NFL guy right now, so seeing him, I'm honestly amazed at what he can do sometimes. And Dak, he's a burner. He'll beat you off the ball. He's super quick, good pass rusher. So we got a lot of good DNs.
What's, I guess, the message from Coach Dineen about kind of the importance of you guys to this team, because getting pressure on the quarterback is going to be vital?
Yeah, we have a high standard in this room. The defense goes as we go. We got to be, playmakers. We can win the game in our room, and that's how we have to look at it.
Is that kind of a message from Coach DK as well? Because I know he's said when he's talked to us before about to have a good defense, you got to have a good defensive line up front.
Yeah, that's where it starts and that's where it ends. Like I said, you can win the game up front. Coach DK, he sends that message to us. He knows what standard we have to play at, what standard we can play at. So it's up to us to play with that.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Great stuff there from incoming defensive end David Santiago. Now we're going to go to the interior on the defensive side. We talk a lot about how D.K. McDonald likes to mix up his looks defensively, and it's different than how Brian Borland was. But no Trayvon McAlpine, so a bigger role for Eamon Biggie Small as he comes over from UAB, and we're going to hear from him right now. But that's going to be vital as well because Kansas is losing the law firm up front. Blake Herold, we know, is going to have a big say in how well Kansas does up front defensively, but Smalls as well. I mean, he's going to have to be an impact player.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Blake Herold and Eamon Smalls, I mean, you look at those two guys, very different styles of defensive tackles, if you will. And Eamon Smalls is right now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest guy on the team in terms of size. He's 335 pounds, almost 340. I mean, that dude is a massive, massive guy, and that's just a guy that you want to get in there and kind of gunk up the middle a little bit, just fill in those holes. And that's exactly the spot that he is intended on being put into in this DK McDonald style of defense. Meanwhile, Blake Herold's more of a kind of guy on the inside who's going to try to apply pressure whenever he can, but in terms of creating chaos, closing gaps, that's what Eamon Smalls is going to do, and he's going to take a much larger role than he probably anticipated as well now that we don't have Trayvon McAlpine for this year.
For sure, and Herold, to your point, is going to be more so heavily leaned on for using his athleticism, getting by guys, creating havoc back there, whereas Smalls is going to be mucking everybody up, and he uses the word violence. We heard that word a lot, actually, talking about the defensive front for Kansas in the past couple of days, violence, and how that's going to be important. Kansas is going to have to be the tougher team. All right, let's go back to the Anderson Family Football Complex and hear from Eamon Biggie Smalls.
It's just all waterway.
Waterway for sure.
Awesome. What's the acclimation process been like for you over the last kind of 7 months since you've been here?
You know, as you guys know, spring, you know, didn't get to participate. So the acclimation, you know, just kind of been, you know, taking it slow at first, and then kind of just building up on the reps, kind of getting everything back into the groove and stuff like that.
What for you has been maybe the biggest, I wouldn't say challenge, but acclimation process of like now getting to practice and really get on the field and get reps?
Ooh, I would probably say just going, just getting back in that mindset of going. You know what I'm saying? Just going, continue. You know.
In the spring, with you missing it, they put a new rule in a couple of years ago where coaches get to work more with the players in the summertime. How much did that help you being able to work with them more in the summer?
Oh, that helped me a lot because also, you know, with doing all that, you know, it kind of was I had to do mental reps, just learn the playbook. So that really helped me a lot. So when I got to go, you know, I was pretty all set with the playbook and everything. So that played a huge role.
Going back to the winter, you know, what was about Kansas that made you feel like this was the place for you?
The coaches, man, the love, you know, they never changed, never switched, and I wanted somewhere where I could go and I could develop, you know what I'm saying, just grow more as a player and stuff like that, and they've done a hell of a job of doing that.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate. Before you got here, when you were in the portal, you mentioned the coaches, but what was their sort of pitch to you on their vision of maybe where you would play or how you would fit into the defense that KU wants to run?
Oh, that was just, I would say their pitch was more so the plan and what they wanted to do for me, like what could take my game to the next level, you know, stands like rush, you know, stuff like that. Like, what could take my game to the next level, and you know what I'm saying, I bought into that, and I felt like this was the right place to go.
You had legit production last year. You know, you don't see D tackles with as many tackles as you have. What do you feel like allowed you to produce at such a high level?
Working my butt off every day. You feel me? Trying to taking no plays off, just having a dominant mindset that I'm gonna try to get in every play, every tackle, every play. I want to be in on it.
They use you guys in multiple ways here, obviously depending on which front you're in or whatever. What's it been like getting used to that, and do you like it?
That has been pretty much the same, because I know at my last school they kind of used me the same. They kind of used me at 2-eye, 3-eye. We kind of went to zero. So it was pretty smooth transition. For sure.
With Trey going down, you guys can play nose. You can play nose too. How would you kind of maybe compare what you're asked to at nose versus when you're playing like a 3-tech?
Could you say that question again?
Like, how would you compare, like in this scheme, right? What they're asking you to do, like nose compared to like a 3-tech?
Okay, so nose, you basically just playing that zero lag. You know what I'm saying? You kind of playing two gaps at three. At the 3, you just playing your one gap. You know what I'm saying? You just playing that 3. So pretty much. it's pretty much the same in the aspect. It's all football. You know what I'm saying?
How tough was it losing Trey and having to move past having him this season?
Oh man, it was tough because Trey's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Big leader in the room, and not just on the room, just on the defense. So, but guys, football, that happens all the time. So, got to have that next player mindset. And so a lot of guys, stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of good guys in the room. We got a lot of good talent in the room. So just, being that guy, just continue to develop, continue to even now, still developing, still working on my craft, still working.
What do you think is your biggest strength?
My power, my violence. Right.
What have you been working on the most, or where do you still need to improve the most?
Oh, I would say right now I've just been working on getting that quickness back, getting back in that groove. Took the spring off now, still getting back in that groove.
Was it tough going out there for the first day of fall camp?
I would say I've been actually doing a lot of conditioning. So the heat, it's smooth. Birmingham was hot too. So yeah, it was. It has its challenges for sure.
I've heard a lot about your work ethic since you got here. I mean, where does that come from, and what do you think?
That just comes from my mom. Single parent household. I never watched my mom quit on anything. I watched my mom get up every day and work, and if she could get up every day and work, then I could for sure get up every day and bust my ass here. So that's where that comes from. That's all.
It's pretty obvious, but how'd you get the Biggie nickname? Has that been like your whole life? That you've had that?
Man, I've had a bunch of nicknames. Man, I've heard it all from Killing Me Smalls to literally like everything. So just last year, Biggie just really stuck. One of my coaches just started calling me Biggie, and it just stuck because big, Eamon, and then Smalls is my last name, so it just stuck.
We've heard from several transfers who have really progressed physically with Coach Sleeve and the strength staff. For you, how have you seen yourself get stronger, faster? Where have you seen yourself taking the biggest step, kind of in that regard?
Oh, I would just say my body composition. So one of the things I know I want to do is just continue to get more leaner, and also drop my body fat percentage here. So we've really been working on that. He's really done a good job on that. We're also gaining muscle mass and losing body fat. So that's been a good.
You asked someone about the BCD thing. Is that for blaming, complaining, defending? Is that what they said?
No blaming, complaining, defending, nothing. None of that.
Do you hear that a lot?
Oh yeah. That's Oh yeah, every day. Because that's what we want to live by. We don't want to blame. We don't want to complain. We don't want to defend. That's not what we're about here.
That's Eamon Smalls. He will be key up front for the Jayhawks this season. Like we talked about, a big loss in Trayvon McAlpine, and that's something that, hopefully we don't have to talk about throughout the season. Nobody wanted it, but a guy who came to Kansas, was heavily sought after, got some money to be here, and unfortunately has the injury that's going to keep him out for this upcoming season. And what Coach Leipold said regarding McAlpine is KU had already filed a waiver, so hopefully he'll be a Jayhawk in 2027. But, Smalls and Herold, among other guys, are going to have to be impactful up front because, it's all about chemistry defensively. And as DK McDonald has said oftentimes, he's never coached a defense that didn't have a good defensive line. So those guys are going to be key.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think when we heard from Coach Jim Panagos, and, he said a lot of stuff about the defensive line, and, Trayvon McAlpine has been brought up quite a bit just because you thought that was going to be your number one guy in there to kind of, like you said, muck it up in the middle, right? Very different in terms of some of the other defensive tackles that Kansas has had in the past, where you rely on them to apply pressure to the quarterback as opposed to a guy who's just a big body who gets in there and disrupts the run game essentially. But when you look at the depth that you have on the defensive line, and this is something that we've continued to talk about, is depth, and our faith in the guys who are lower on the depth chart, probably not going to see a lot of, but still really talented players. And somebody that we haven't really talked a lot about is Marcus Calvin, who got a lot of playing time last year. He's going to be able to take a big step up. He's a redshirt junior this year, right? You have Blake Herold. You have Kevin Otis, who comes over from Arkansas. I think he's going to have some play this year. And then continuing to talk about Jabril Condi down low, coming over from Grand Valley State, Division II. Lance talked about him today, saying that there was a little bit of adjustment period, just learning the speed of the game, but he's shown some really good stuff and made some really big-time plays for this. And then We also heard that Naquan Carter could even be a guy that we see out there as a true freshman this year. So, again, you feel really confident. You also haven't heard a lot about Jalen Adkins as well, who comes over from Coffeyville Community College. I think he could be, a guy that we could see a little bit in the rotation. So, again, I'm really bullish on this interior defensive line group. Even without Trayvon McAlpine, it's a big loss, because he comes over from Tulane. They played in the college football playoff. He was a big-time part of that defense. But still, you like the depth that you have there.
And it's definitely now the time of year where we're saying, okay, here are guys who could potentially be impactful for KU. It's up to them to win those spots, right?
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the message from all these coaches. I do. We heard from Daryl Ekpulso today, and we're going to talk offensive line more and hear from him on Monday. But everybody's aligned on the offensive side, because we've talked a lot about moving guys from tackle to guard or guard to center or whatever it is, aligned with having the 5 best offensive linemen. And Coach Leipold said today, if one guy goes down, then who's the next best 5 offensive linemen? Guys have to be versatile, and same deal on the other side as well. So, yeah, a lot to be excited about. And, Jabril Condé, I think, was the first guy who committed to Kansas when the portal opened.
Well, that's because, the Division II portal opened up sooner.
True.
So
Grand
he
Valley
was the
State.
first one, and, he's been on campus, ever since the winter. And he's taken a big step up, put a lot of size on him. And, again, Lance called him out specifically and said, hey, I really like he's made some big time plays in the spring and this fall, that he's going to be a nice piece for this Kansas defensive line.
One thing about KU that I'm sure Marcus Calvin really appreciates:
barbells.
Yes.
In the weight room.
Absolutely. How about
is that? I mean, do you think he walked in the Kansas weight room and he's like, what are these things?
Probably so.
Because if I don't know if you knew this, Marcus Calvin didn't have a barbell in his weight room in high school.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? A crazy story that nobody's
talked about it for the 4 years that he's been on campus or anything like that. David Santiago and Eamon Biggie Smalls from earlier this week. We're going to go back to the football building after this and hear from KU defensive ends coach and All-American Joe Dineen. That's next. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright back with you. We're going to hear from KU defensive ends coach Joe Dineen. Earlier today, the guys got a chance to practice at the booth, on the field, with the new Monster logo on the field.
Man.
How about that, Dan? Really exciting. I know that Coach Leipold said earlier today they're going to get a night practice in there. Might get a couple more practices in during fall camp, actually at the booth, but instead of the adjacent fields, practice fields, they're actually today at the stadium. So very exciting.
It looks awesome. I mean, that was the first time that I've been inside, on the field, and got to be able to see the backs of the bleachers and different things like that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. People are complaining why didn't everybody get individual chair backs? Because then you can pack more people in, right? And isn't that what you want? I mean, and Travis Goff actually tweeted something about that today. He was like, if we did individual chair backs, that's taking up a little bit more space for each individual one. That's going to lower the capacity. We want as many people in there as possible, and there's still going to be chair backs on the other side. But on the south side, they're going to have a student section, and the band on the south side underneath the scoreboard. They're going to have a student section up in it's the northeastern side of David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. But I mean, being inside of there was really kind of surreal, because last year you saw the east side of the old remnants of David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, and now it's completely engulfed, and they're still going to be working on the upper bowl, but it is just kind of crazy. And obviously growing up a Kansas fan, going to every home game as a kid, it's kind of surreal. I asked Calvin Clements about this today, but it's just I never thought anything like this would be possible. I thought maybe they could upgrade a few things here or there, like the bathrooms or whatever. I know K-State fans love clowning on the old bathrooms, but
it felt like we were permanently, I don't want to say stuck.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the word. It felt like we were permanently stuck with this really old stadium.
Yeah.
One of the oldest in the country that we loved and has a lot of great memories, like you said, nostalgia, going to games when we were kids. But you go to other stadiums around the country, and it was like, okay, we need to do some things around here. And what Travis Goff, David Booth, Brad Garlinghouse, all sorts of donors, all sorts of administrative staff have done to make this happen, it's been incredible. And, it's one of the best facilities in the country. Andy Kotelnicki said that.
Yeah.
He said when he got here, he told Coach Leipold, this is a top 10 facility right now. So it's awesome. And, again, Leipold talked today about how they're further along for this 2026 season in terms of the construction, in terms of how it looks inside, than he even thought they would be.
Yeah, he said that he was surprised to see the lights go up. He thought they were going to be the old lights, and then when he saw the wheat lights go up, he was like, "Oh, okay, like that's awesome." Like you just didn't really expect that. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool. Are you familiar with the ship of Theseus?
I'm not.
So the ship of Theseus, are you familiar? The ship of Theseus is an old like Greek legend of there's a ship and it keeps on getting broken, so they replace each individual board one by one. And the whole question is like, at what point does it no longer become the ship of Theseus? It's a brand new ship. And that's how you kind of felt last year when you had the east side still. You're like, all right, yeah, it's still a little bit. But now it's completely brand new. And this is a completely brand new stadium. And checking it out, I mean, I saw today, some construction workers like painting the walls blue, kind of at the midfield side where there's going to be, I would imagine there's going to be like the visitor locker room is going to be over there somewhere. I actually was talking to somebody about this today. I don't know where the hell the visitor locker room is going to be, because if you remember, it was on that southeast corner. That's no longer there anymore.
Right.
So
right.
I don't know where the visitor locker room is going to be.
It might be in the truck they bring,
right.
the equipment.
Yeah, they're just going to put up a tent on the hill somewhere.
Right.
But no, it looks incredible, guys. Whatever, any pictures you see, any like qualms that you have over anything, like, yeah, sitting through a year of construction is probably going to suck. You know what? But at the same time, it's brand new. It's going to look freaking awesome, and you guys are going to love it. Like, it really is. Like, it feels special. It feels big time, where I feel like at times in years past, and maybe it's because Kansas football was bad and it was empty a lot of the times, didn't feel big time. It felt old. It felt like it was just kind of like another thing that happened on Saturdays, But now this feels big. Like, and Calvin used the word, this is a pro-style stadium. Like, this is a professional stadium that Kansas is building right now, and it looks it.
Yeah, winning helps everything, and everything helps winning. So hopefully that continues as Kansas tries to get back to a bowl game. They went to back-to-back 22-23, and now just itching to get back out there after how last season ended. A couple heartbreaking ends to the seasons after Kansas was 5-6 heading into the final game each of the last 2 years. All right, let's go back to the Anderson Family Football Complex. We're going to hear from defensive ends coach and the guy who twice led the Big 12 in solo tackles and also Big 12 leader in tackles and tackles for loss, Joe Dineen, who now coaches defensive ends here at KU.
Good to see everybody again.
Good. All right, guys, we got Coach Dineen. Go ahead with any questions.
How's it been for your group so far in camp?
It's been good. It's been good. I think we picked up off where we left it in the spring. Just trying to get the details of the defense down. The thing I like that we did this fall is we really tried to go all in on the installs early, and so now it's more about diving into the details and trying to iron out all the specifics of the defense.
What sort of leap have you seen from Leroy since camp started?
Say that one more time.
What kind of leap have you seen from Leroy since camp started?
Leroy's done a good job. I think the big thing with Leroy is focusing on his technique. When he has, with that size, with that athletic ability, if you can match that and pair that with great technique and great violence, then the sky's going to be the limit. And a challenge for us is to get him to do it every snap. You see flashes of it, and when he does it, he has a lot of success in the run game and in the pass game. And now for us as coaches, we got to get him to do it every single snap.
You hear that, and we've heard Sleeve talk about him and his potential. Do you think Leroy himself understands fully where he can take this and where he might want to take it?
I think so. I think he attacks it. He's a humble kid, right? Like, everything that he does is a workman mentality. But I do think that he realizes what he could potentially be. But what he also realizes is that it's not going to come just by waking up and showing up every day. He's got to be intentional about what he's trying to get better at. And I think through these 8 days of practice, he's really done that.
Yeah, sometimes you need that extra edge to get there. Right?
100%.
Effort or whatever you want to call it. Like, does he have that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes you got to pull it out of him a little bit because naturally he is a very genuine, nice person. But sometimes you got to light a fire under him and get him going. And when he does, it's hard to stop.
With David Santiago, I know he's been working at both sides.
Yep.
Have you found one that works better for him than another? And I guess how helpful is that versatility?
The versatility is huge. And that's a good question. They're similar enough to where he can roll at both the different spots. We're starting to put him at a little bit more stud. he's doing a really nice job. David's a guy that just kind of keeps showing up. You know, he plays with great technique. He's really smart. And the thing that I think he's taken the next step in, maybe from the spring, is how relentless he is in his pass rush. You know, if the first move doesn't work, he's quick to transition to a next move. He's not letting people that shouldn't block him. And I think because of that, he's going to have a productive year. He just got to stay diligent in his technique like we all do.
Both Leroy and Alex are 270-ish. That extra size that they have, how helpful can that be?
Yeah, I think to stop the run, right? Outside zone's a big one. You got to create knockback on the front side. You got to squeeze things down on the backside, and having two guys that are 270 that are hard to move like that creates knockback on the front side of these runs. And if we can do that consistently, big people beat up little people. You know, big people beat up little people, and that's just that's like Darwinism or something. It's like evolution, right? So we got to keep them big.
How do you go about deciding how many guys you're ultimately going to want to rotate when the season gets going?
You know, I think it's an above the line, below the line approach, man. If you earn playing time, you're going to play. Now, I understand that, and I've told the guys this, like, it's nothing personal, but the people that give us the best opportunity to play in that instant are going to play. And it can be any of them. But the people that give us the best opportunity to play are going to play. We're going to rotate to keep guys fresh. But when it comes down to when we need them the most, like, we need the best guys to be out there.
At practice, you notice there's a lot more coaches just around in terms of the analysts. Can you
Yeah.
kind of compare and contrast, like, when you were playing, the coaching, hands-on approach you could have then and versus now, and how much more that helps now having so many analysts and extra
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I played here, analysts couldn't help out. So it was really just the 10 accountable coaches and then the GAs. And those were the only people that could be hands-on at practice. Now I'm lucky. I have Coach Courtney Arnick, who also played here, who does an unbelievable job helping me. Really smart, really good coach, and he's done an awesome job just helping. He's a technician with the pass rush stuff as well, and we see like-minded, and he's been a huge help this year with me.
He had worked with you at Purdue, right?
Oh yeah.
So how'd you end up kind of bringing him back here?
We had a spot open, and they said I could have some say in it, so he was my first call.
So I guess what's that reunion been like, and obviously having another guy who played in this uniform?
Oh, it's I think anytime that you get people that come back that may have not had the most success as a player, we want to try to help improve this program as on the other side. His wife is from like the KC, Missouri area, and it got to come back home. He's we just kind of see eye to eye on things, and he challenges me and I challenge him, and it's a good pair.
Obviously, an extra set of eyes or a bunch of extra sets of eyes help with that staff stuff you were talking about. But
100%.
Is it organizational too? I mean, are you more organized out there during practices than maybe you could have been with limited eyes?
I think so. I think you can really dive into the details, and we talk about, the rush and the stud. There's a lot of similarities, but there's differences to where he can go and take one position group and get good work in. I can go and take one position group and get good work in, and we're not skimping on any of the details. And that's where I think, you can take that next step.
Does it move faster too because of that? I mean, you guys go faster.
Yeah, we roll.
Right.
We roll like get your reps, get on to the next drill. We try to as efficiently as we can, but also being detailed. We try to get on to the next thing. We got to do a lot of stuff as defensive ends. We stop the run, pass rush, and we drop into coverage. So we got to try to hit all those points, throughout the course of an indie and throughout the course of a week.
Joe, with looking at the 2 deep, do you feel good about your top 4?
Yeah, I really do. I think, the thing I like about them is they all kind of possess something different, so that when we roll guys out, the tackles aren't going to see the same thing every time. And I think that's important for versatility, but also not giving the tackles just the same looks over and over and over again. I think it's going to give them enough of different moves, different movement patterns, that they're going to have to practice a lot of different things.
Dak had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kirk.
Well, I was just going to ask a name that's come up a couple of times is Garrett Martin.
Yeah.
What do you see from him?
G's done an unbelievable job. The jump that he even made from spring to now is really impressive. So G has done a really good job of learning both. And I told him all at the beginning of fall camp that if you know both, like the chances of you getting on the field are really, really high because it's a long season. So if you just play one spot, it's going to be harder for you to get on the field than if you can play both. And he's done a really good job, and I trust him to go in there at both spots. He's developing a little bit of a pass rush, but he's a big, thick, strong kid that's violent and knows what he's supposed to do.
I was going to ask about Dak because he had those flashes at the end of last year. What goes into him becoming more consistent? Because he obviously has a little promise. But
yeah, absolutely. I think just challenging Dak every day. Dak is a kid that wants to be really good. He wants to be really good, so it's on us as coaches to get him to that point and let him know if he's slipping at all. And he wants to be coached, and I think Dak, the maturity level with Dak has really gone up, and I appreciate working with him every day, and we're going to keep striving because he's got a lot of potential.
What are the biggest things you still want to see from your unit over these next fall camp practices heading into the season?
I think consistency. I think being consistently violent, playing through a little bit of discomfort, playing through a little bit of tiredness. We tell them all the time, 3 or 4 times last year, we went into the fourth quarter with the lead. And so we tell them, when we need you the most, like, you need to be at your best. And the only way you do that is by practicing really hard. And if you're soft in practice, you're going to be soft in the game. And I think the big thing is when we need them the most, like, we got to get after the quarterback, we got to create pressure, we got to do our job consistently, and that all starts in practice.
When you got some new freshmen, like you had come in, what are the big coaching points for you, where your starting points for them?
I think it starts with stance and eyes. Young players, and Drayden and Hunter have done a really good job. They're 2 really smart kids. Wyatt as well. They've come in, they've wanted to learn, but what happens is they fall back on the habits that they created in high school, which a lot of times in high school they're the best player on the field, and it doesn't really matter what they do. So when you get here, it's all about your alignment, and then what do I look at? Because they're looking at the quarterback and trying to go make plays, but those guys in front of them are moving them out of their gap. So it's about alignment and then eye progression.
Yeah, Joe, new development in your own life. What's that been like for camp and being a dad and the whole thing?
It's on it. I appreciate you asking that, Matt. It's awesome, man. It's so my wife is a trooper. She actually just started work, which, God bless her, is doing the full-time job as a mom and full-time job with what she's doing at home. But it's amazing, and he's starting to get to the point where he's alert. His eyes are open. She does a good job of keeping him awake so that when I get home, I can have a little bit of time. I'll read him a bedtime story. I joked with Leroy the other day that I was reading him like The Mouse and the Cookie, and I just kept thinking about, does Leroy know he's supposed to spill here? He ruined my evening. But no, it's I appreciate you asking that. It's been freaking awesome.
All right, thanks, guys. Good deal.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
That's former KU linebacker and current defensive ends coach Joe Dineen Jr. Loved Matt Tate, friend of the show, asking that question at the end about Joe becoming a new dad.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And hilarious answer from Joe. Like, work-life balance to a T. He's reading his kid a bedtime story, thinking about if Leroy knows.
Does Leroy know to spill there?
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Does Leroy know to spill on this play? Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh.
But yeah, that's how it goes. So much football content here these past couple weeks. And then next week, we're going to have KU Football Media Day on Thursday. We're going to be over there at the indoor practice facility, getting all sorts of interviews, coverage, everything that you need. Again, keep up with us on Kansas Nation. And on Monday's show, we're going to have Coach Leipold at the podium. We're going to have Daryl Ekpalsa at the podium, select tight ends and offensive linemen as well. This segment brought to you by Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment.
Yeah, man, Joe Dineen back in the day, I mean, he used to be able to fit in those gaps, and it felt like he could just move a tractor. Speaking of tractors, Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, They're outdoor enthusiasts. They're excited to help you experience the fun and adventure that quality lawn and garden and outdoor power equipment can bring into your life. They're an outdoor power equipment dealership serving the Lawrence area, offering the best in new and pre-owned Ferris Hustler and Country Clipper mowers, Mahindra tractors and implements, Arcticats, ATVs and UTVs, steel handhelds, and Billy Goat specialty turf products. If you want any kind of outdoor power equipment that can't be broken by Joe Dineen, check out HeinenOutdoorPowerEquipment.com. That's HeinenOPE.com. HeinenOPE.com.
Something's brewing here in the Kansas Nation studio, and it's Tyler Brewer. He's going to join us next segment. We're also going to hear from defensive tackles coach Jim Panagos after this. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com. Miles Schneider was the 2025 Lawrence Citizen of the Year. He heads the operations over at Crown Automotive on South Iowa here in Lawrence. If you're not local, crownautomotive.com. Check out all the selection they've got online. Of course, great opportunity to schedule service if you need to. But again, if you are local, tell them Sean and Dan sent you. They've got a great line. If you're looking for Taos Tiguans on the Volkswagen side of things, or perhaps Tundras Tacomas on the Toyota side of things, whatever floats your boat, they've got it over at Crown.
Yeah, they're going to get you in the car that fits your lifestyle. He was the 2025 Lawrence Citizen of the Year.
Yes,
so that's how you know he's not going to give the old runaround. By the way, what do you have to do to be the Lawrence Citizen of the Year? I know Tyler Brewer is trying to make a run at 2026.
Let me email Miles Schneider right now and ask.
I wonder what, can you, do you have to, sign up and, put your name on a ballot or something? I actually don't know. I
think you are anointed as such.
Anointed as such. So is it a recommendation thing? Anybody
Mm-hmm.
out there, write me in. I think it'd be fun.
You in? Okay.
No. I think it'd be funny to write Tyler in. I think we should write Tyler Brewer in.
Let's go with that. Speaking of which, something is brewing here in the Kansas Nation studio. We're going to be joined by Tyler Brewer. Tyler's been interning for us for a couple months now, and he's going to be doing some KU volleyball coverage for us this upcoming season. Excited for that. KU volleyball, of course, ranked number 15 in the AVCA preseason poll. They've got their alumni match tomorrow at Horse Family Volleyball Arena. They've got the Katie Dalton revenge game as Creighton comes to town a week from tomorrow. Exhibition, top 15 teams coming. And then KU volleyball, as we spoke of yesterday, their first game is August 28th against Pitt, who's ranked number 4 in the country. So a really, really talented team, but a really tough schedule for Matt Ulmer in his second year. Tyler, thanks for coming on, man. It's been awesome having you behind the cameras, and want to tap into your brain about KU volleyball, KU football as well. But second year is interesting. Matt Ulmer said on Monday, I know you were over there at the press conference, he said last year's team that ended up going to Sweet 16 having a good year was kind of just like a mixed bag of talented women, right? You had a couple international women, you had some transfers, you had some young players. He felt like it probably wasn't the most talented team ever. Now I feel like there's a little bit more chemistry probably with the returning players. Your thoughts kind of on this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret in the press conference, Ulmer talked about how he wanted his team to play faster, and last year he didn't really have the girls that they needed to play faster. He was more playing to what his players' strengths were, which was what any good coach does. So this year, a big focal point for him is getting his team to play faster. That's obviously going to be building chemistry up with their setters and their outside hitters and just trying to get everyone in sync.
Yeah, Jovana Zelenovic transfers over to Miami, and Selena Laban, who I think has a really good future, she transferred to Florida. So KU loses those players, but again, you bring in somebody as talented as Reese Messer, who was getting national recognition as a freshman setter at USC, comes back home as she's from the Olathe area, and now she figures to slide in. She was a unanimous Big 12 selection for the first team, and we joke about the Reese's fast break. To your point, Zelenovic, a power player, not really quick twitch, with people like Reese Messer, Logan Bell is somebody who can play everywhere, and then Reese Patak, who also got preseason accolades. I mean, that's a really good core, and they should be able to play a fast, exciting brand.
Yeah, it's going to be really important, I think, for Reese Patek especially to just grow on what she was last season. She was the highest. She had the most kills and the most points out of any returning player for KU this year. So I think she's going to be the big leader of trying to get everyone right, get them all with the right mindset, and especially growing, like Ulmer said, that fast attack that KU's trying to build. It's going to be really interesting to see how they blend. We get our first look at them on Saturday with the alumni game, so that'll be really fun to see.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Tyler Brewer, intern here at Kansas Nation. Something's brewing with Tyler Brewer. I wanted to know your thoughts on this. You were in here, obviously, behind the cameras when Henry was in here, talking about Sydney Bryant, the fact that she's a two-sport athlete. Super impressive that you're able to do that two sports at a Power 4 level. Kansas hasn't seen that since, I believe, James Sosinski, the KU football and basketball legend.
Jaden Nickens.
Oh, yeah, Jaden Nickens never, I don't think,
Almost
put on
like
a...
Never was on the roster.
Almost
for
got
basketball.
Keon Coleman. I always talk about the former Jayhawk legend Keon Coleman. I'm interested to know kind of how you think that this is going to fit because, again, I've seen it at a lower level, but, again, less travel time, less long distance travels, and a little bit less of an overlap between seasons as well. I mean, your thoughts in terms of what you're going to be seeing from Sydney Bryant on the volleyball court this year, and then maybe also on the basketball court as well, because to me, she's more of a need on the basketball court than she is on the volleyball court.
Yeah, well, first of all, I need Sydney Bryant to just teach me how to manage my time better because I'm struggling managing 2 jobs right now, and then school's starting up. I can't imagine doing 2 D1 sports, but real talk, I think Sydney Bryant, like you said, definitely needed a little bit more on the basketball side, but she's still 6'4", and KU is a bit of an undersized team, especially when you compare them with the top volleyball teams, which now you're having to do. If you're KU, you're wanting to become a national title contender. You lost to Nebraska in the Sweet 16 last year. You're going to have to get a little bit taller and get that talent up there. Sydney Bryant is a major help in that way. I'm really interested to see how they do that. It sounds like Ulmer and Schneider both had a plan that they came up with Bryant before they even got her to commit to KU. So as long as those 3 have a plan and those programs are all working together, I'm sure it's going to be great. I personally cannot fathom having to do that myself, but it's going to be really interesting to see, and hopefully she's going to be able to play as big of a part on both those teams as I think both those coaches envision her to be doing so.
Gesundheit, Daniel.
Thanks, I sneezed.
Tyler Brewer joining us here in studio. Tyler, wanted to ask you one more thing about volleyball because you've helped us out here this past week. We've been busy. We had meetings in Kansas City, and we've had football availability, and Tyler's been a huge help getting us videos from volleyball, soccer, football, etc. But going back, I know it was a while ago. It was Monday. Anything else that Matt Ulmer or one of the student athletes for KU Volleyball said that really jumped out at you? I know there's a lot of excitement about getting back in Horsch, the fact they didn't play a non-con game at home last year, a tough non-conference schedule, and again, high expectations heading into this season. KU has been a really good volleyball brand, literally going back to probably the 2015 Final Four. Coach Bouchard has had KU in a good spot, and now year 2 of Matt Ulmer, but a young team to have high expectations heading into the season.
Yeah, I know they're wanting to play some more home games than the non-con. I know they're trying to get people into the arena and get that place loud, get those freshmen adjusted to what it's like playing volleyball at Kansas. So going to be seeing a little bit more of that this year. And then, like you said, with a harder non-conference schedule, it's just going to be trying to build up these players, get them to that competition level. That way they can grow more earlier in the season. Then they get to Big 12 play. They're going to have a bigger target on their backs this year. They had 5 losses in Big 12 play this past season. So this year, being a top 15 team in the country, how are they going to adjust to those wrinkles that other Big 12 teams are going to throw at them this year? Are they going to improve on that record? Are they going to drop back a little bit? It's going to be interesting to see that. But overall, Ulmer just really wants the girls to get adjusted to what it's like playing volleyball under his system and at KU.
Tyler, I wanted to transition over to the other fall sport, and football obviously is the big story going on right now, and this is the first year that you've probably ever followed Kansas football without Jalen Daniels being at the helm. I mean, obviously you're a senior.
Not counting the
Are you a
Jason
senior?
Bean years?
Well, I guess that is fair. I guess Jason Bean was in there as well. But I wanted to know just kind of maybe some storylines that you're interested in looking at for this KU football program, just because of the fact that you're bringing Andy Kotelnicki back after he takes Penn State to a college football playoff, and him being able to come back to Kansas. We remember how fun that offense was. Obviously, 2 quarterbacks in line right now to potentially be that number 1 starter. You get a bunch of transfers on the linebackers. I mean, just what are some storylines that maybe pique your interest for this KU football team?
I mean, did you know that KU's having a quarterback battle?
They are?
I've heard
I don't
it.
know if it's been
Really?
reported enough, especially on
I
the
heard.
show.
I think I heard it from Marcus Calvin.
I think I heard that too when he was talking about the fact that he didn't have a barbell in his
sounds
high
right.
school.
Oh, yeah. So looking forward to seeing that. I don't really have as much weight as maybe Henry or Nick do, but, I think that Cole Ballard, in the practices I've gone to, he's looked really well. Even on his worst day of the 2 that I was there, he was still hitting his targets, still getting the ball to where it needs to be. So I'm expecting, I think, a little more, and what we're hearing from everyone else talking, that Cole Ballard could end up being that guy. I don't think the coaches have any favorites right now, nor should they, because it's better to have a competition going on for as long as possible, bring out the best in all those guys. But hoping to see a lot of good things out of Cole Ballard this season. I think hopefully when they announce the starter, they commit to that starter for multiple weeks, no matter if they have a bad game or not, just because you got to show trust and confidence in your players, and you got to give them a bit of runway, in my opinion. So looking forward to seeing how those quarterbacks do when they get put into a real-life game against opponents not with other KU helmets on them. I'm also looking forward to seeing the tight ends this year. Tyler Warren with Kolanecki was amazing, and I think really brought the best out of him. He was a good tight end before, great tight end after. Can KU become a little bit of a tight end university? I'd love to take that title away from Iowa, personally, being a Nebraska fan myself, but looking forward to seeing that. I think we have a lot of great tight ends in that room. They're all big men as well, so looking forward to seeing that. And then just how is the defense going to adjust this season? I mean, not only just going into games, what the game plan is going to be, how we're going to go after it, but when we get punched in the mouth, how are we going to adjust? What are we going to do? I remember the Iowa State game last year, I think like 3 different times there were tight end block and release patterns right up the seam, and it beat KU all 3 times on very crucial downs in those games. So what are we going to be able to do to adjust to those situations and make plays when they're needed, especially in the close games? Because I'm tired of seeing my football teams lose close games, one-score games. I lived through Scott Frost. I don't need to do it again. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter about Kansas needing to improve, getting off the field on third down, getting more takeaways, more pressure on the quarterback, that sort of thing. So, yeah, there's some questions to be answered, and there's plays to be made. That's the bottom line. You got to make the plays because there's going to be a lot of close games. We know that for sure for KU football this season. Tyler, last thing for you here before we let you go. The St. Louis Cardinals cap that you've got on.
Go Birds.
I'm actually going to switch this up. I'm not going to ask you about the Cardinals. I'm fine with that. Whatever. Royals, by the way, for anybody who missed it.
Yeah.
They're playing in the Field of Dreams next year. I'm going to have to make my way to Dyersville, Iowa. So maybe I'll get my PTO request in now.
Vacation hotspot, yeah.
August 12th, the Kansas City Royals and the Boston Red Sox. That is so cool, the Field of Dreams. I'm going to have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully there's like one bar that's somewhat close because there really is nothing. I was watching the Phillies-Twins game last night. I'm like,
there's
nothing
there.
around.
Yeah.
I love it, though. That's what it's about.
And Bodie
all
Ray,
the legends.
Bodie Ray is like the closest town. And it's like 40 minutes away.
I know. So. I texted my brother-in-law who lives in Iowa. He's like, yeah, it's like 3 hours away. Cool.
Bring a cooler
awesome.
with you. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I'll be all right.
That's cool.
But anyway, are you from St. Louis? Remind us where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from a town called Waverly, Nebraska, just outside of Lincoln, about 5 minutes out.
And why does that Cardinals hat happen then?
Yeah, so it's called being raised right. We have good
That'll
values.
do it here on – no,
the Cardinals have good values. I was raised and instilled with good values. They play the right brand of baseball. I love watching the right brand of baseball. And, hey, it's fun rooting for an underdog. The Cardinals were a great team for so long. The 2011 World Series Game 6, David Freese puts one on into Freese lawn when they were down to their last out, even
that
last
was
strike
cool.
in the game.
Pujols homer against Brad Lidge. That was cool as well. But next time we go inside the crown, we might have to have you on with David Lesky.
Who has ever said the St. Louis Cardinals?
Don't they have 11 world championships?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
Big scrappy underdog, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, they are this year. They're projected to have like 50 wins or something this year. Now they're playing for the last spot in the NL wild card with one of the lowest payrolls in the league.
I weirdly was a huge Scott Rowland fan. I actually had a Scott Rowland shirt. I think before I realized much about the Royals-Cardinals rivalry, I loved Scott Rowland. I love his game.
Fair enough.
Shout out.
I will say this. Busch Stadium is...
New Busch Stadium or Old Busch Stadium?
New Busch Stadium. I haven't been to the Old Busch Stadium.
Which New Busch Stadium? I've been calling it that, even though I think it was new in like 2009, maybe.
Yeah. No, I've been to like 3 Cardinals games. Weirdly, it's one of my favorite stadiums. Like I went to that little area outside of it. It's kind of like the Power Light Ballpark Village. Yeah. It's so much fun. So unfortunately, Kauffman is like my 3rd favorite ballpark I think I've ever been to.
Have you only been to 3?
I've been to 4. I've been to Wrigley. Kind of a dump, but still really cool. Huh?
Wrigley was your 4?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think Colorado Rockies was really cool too.
Coors Field. My buddy drinks Coors, and he always calls it Coors. I'm like, it's not Coors. It's Coors.
No. I've been to Coors Field. Coors Field is great. Kauffman might be number 4.
Well,
that's
just you being a bad fan.
All right.
Anyway, Tyler Brewer, thanks for coming on with us. We'll have you on again soon, but appreciate all you do behind the cameras and your coverage of KU volleyball. We're going to be pumped to talk with you about that here in the coming weeks, months, however long Matt Ulmer will take this team. But right now, we're going to go back to the Merconic Auditorium. Heard from defensive tackles coach Jim Panagos earlier this week, and here's Coach Panagos talking about everything DTs.
Can I get some drink real quick? Hot one out there today now.
All right, guys, go ahead with any questions for Coach Panagos.
How's camp been for your group so far?
I think it's been really beneficial for us right now. The practice schedule, going 2 fields where everybody's getting reps. Because football is the same thing over and over and over, right? So when you play defensive line, really the offensive lineman do one of 4 things. So it's about repetition. So I really like the practice schedule, how structure we're doing. So I've been very pleased.
Losing Trayvon was a blow for you guys. How have the guys maybe taken advantage of additional opportunities they've gotten or moved past losing games?
Well, I think when you lose somebody, it's college football, right? Injuries going to occur. So it's the next mentality. So I have full confidence in the room, and it's part of life, part of football. So not a big deal.
How have you seen Blake step up as a leader? I know it's an area you guys have really tried to challenge him to take a step forward in.
I think really with Blake, it's just him finding his own comfort zone, how to lead, right? Not everybody can lead like coaches, not everybody like this person, that person. You have to lead how you have to lead, what's your presence, how you talk to people. So I think he's learning when to speak up, when not to speak up, what tone, what not, how to tone. So I think it's been really good for him learning that part of the process of being a really good player for us.
What sort of improvement have you seen from Marcus? He's been in the program for a little while now. Where is he kind of taking steps forward this game?
I think everything. I think confidence. I think leadership. I think when you have success, it builds positivity in your brain. So it's a lot of things. He's using his hands better, pass rushing better. It's everything. But it's been 4 years with that, right? Every year he got better and better and better and better. Now he's a redshirt junior. He's exactly where he should be in this program, playing for us.
I think you talked a lot about his confidence in the spring. Has it even grown from then?
I think so, right? So when you go through spring practice every other day, so it's pretty easy. But now we're going every day practicing. So I think he sees it. He wants to be challenged, which is great. I'm always challenging him. He's always sending me texts like, "Coach, I need more reps. Can we give me this? Give me that?" And that's what great players are about. Great players are not always want to be challenged. So I really do appreciate that about him.
Jim, Eamon was a little limited at some point there in the spring. How's he come on?
He's progressing nicely. He's progressing, and we're happy where he's at, and keep adding his reps, and keep getting confidence, and I like the direction where he's going. So I've been really pleased with Eamon. Great kid. The one thing about Eamon I'm really impressed with is he's played a lot of football, and he meets me every single day. Since he's come in this program, he's probably done 1,000 meetings, 1,000 extra walkthroughs, 1,000 individual drills. For someone to have that type of work ethic, who's played a lot of football, it's like really refreshing in today's world.
You guys have rotated differently depending on the year. Some years you've got 6 guys, some years it's fewer. How do you go about deciding what the cut line is or how many you want to have?
I think the biggest thing is trust. Are you going to be where you're supposed to be on the field when it happens, right? If I don't think you're going to be on the field on the spot you need to be, how can I put you in the game, right? So it's about trust, and that's what we're determining in the room right now. Who can help us? Where are we at? And who do we trust to put on the field to do their job when things get really serious? When you're in a stadium in front of 50,000 people and you're playing football and you're fatigued and you're tired and bombs are going off and you miss a tackle, maybe you didn't get a call. Can you execute the defense? They're going really fast. Can you execute the defense? So that's what trust is to me. Can you execute the defense when it's really, really hard?
When we talked to you in the spring, you had just brought in a whole new group of guys for the first time in a while. What's it like now having had more familiarity with them and maybe them having a better sense of your expectations with more months in the room?
What I think it did at the spring practice is now I know their strengths and weaknesses, and I can make their own developmental plan for themselves so they can keep improving. So that's the beneficial of getting your roster set in January, right? That's the one benefit of your roster's done, right, in December and January. They come in spring practice because you're watching them film. You think you really know them, but until you start coaching them, you don't really know them, right? You go through 15 days, that whole spring ball, you watch film, and then you can determine, all right, where can he help us? what they need to do to get better, what they need to improve on, and what they do really well, and make that even a strength. I think a lot of coaches always focus on what they don't do well. You got to focus too on what they do really well and make them a strength, because that in the game will build them confidence. Go back to what they do really well.
With Jabril, where are you challenging him to get better?
I think right now is the term see a little, see a lot. So when you're playing defensive line, you have a thing called primary key and secondary key, right? You need to get locked in your primary key. But young players, they come in and they see everything. In return, they see nothing. Does that make sense, guys? So with Jabril, we're trying to narrow down his focus, his vision to see a little so he can see a lot. And that's the challenge with players, inexperienced players coming from a different level, right? He's moving up, right, 2 levels. So it is a challenge where he was at his old school, just get off the ball and just make plays, right? Well, here's scheme's a little bit different, right? So we need him to narrow his vision. So, and he's showing flashes of it. We just got to be more consistent. And as you know, Michael, we're going to keep driving, and he will get there. Very coachable, wants to work.
What sort of physical progression have you seen from him? Coach Sleeve talked a little about over the course of the year, he's gotten stronger, more athletic. Or have you kind of seen that translate to the field?
I think now when he starts making a play, there's a belief. Okay, yes, I can do this. All right, cool. All my hard work from the weight room, from working with me, extra workouts, extra walkthroughs, extra lifting, extra position drills, I can do this, because it is a jump, right? So it's really rewarding as a coach to him starting the light bulb go on. Like today, for example, like first time he came to the sideline, Coach, man, I knew exactly what I did wrong. Like he told me, like I should have done this with my alignment. I should have got a little line. The back was away from me. I should have got a little wider in my alignment. So that's a positive sign for me that he's getting it. So he's got a bright future in this program. We're excited about Jabril.
Anything else for Coach? All right,
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Coach. That's KU defensive tackles coach Jim Panagos at Merconic Auditorium. A little bit earlier this week, it's been awesome getting to hear from so many guys, and we're going to get Terrence Samuel and Brandon Shelby on Monday as well.
Right.
Monday's show, like I said, we're going to have head coach Leipold. We're also going to have offensive line coach Daryl Paulsa, and we had all sorts of guys today.
Yeah.
Tight end room, we had J.
5
Buck.
guys.
Oh, yeah, we had 5 guys. We wanted to have 6.
Almost had 6
5 guys. Shout out if you guys want to advertise. Let us know.
Whoa, hey, you be careful when you say 5 around here. Okay?
Well,
you can't use the number 5.
Oh, yes. Is that on stock market?
Yeah, it is.
Are you going to have that? Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like that happened Wednesday. Should we still talk about it?
I think it happened on Thursday. No,
right, so
maybe
it's
like
just one
started
day
on
ago?
Wednesday.
Maybe. I don't know.
Classic. I bookmarked those and I have like 10 tweets from the Jaden Daniel stuff that I bookmarked specifically. I was like, I'm going to wait until stock market to talk about that.
Jalen Butler, Carson Bruin, Leighton Cure. Plus, we heard from Amir Herring and Calvin Clements. So we're going to have all sorts of content.
Nicest fella.
Nice guy. Cousin of Zeke Marshall.
He got up and individually shook
I remembered
everyone's
that
hand.
from spring. So
Yeah.
I shook his hand and introduced myself when he walked in.
By the way, Carson Bruin, like we walked up and he was like, wait, hold on. What are all of your names?
That's cool.
And he like went through everything. He's like, all right, Daniel, there's Jack, there's Nick, there's Henry.
Nice guy. Nice
Yeah,
guys.
nice fellas.
Great guys. Great program. Anyway, more coming up after this, as it will indeed be our sports stock market
Ding,
segment.
ding, ding, ding,
Everybody's
ding, ding, ding.
favorite segment. That's next. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. All right, time for sports stock
Ding, ding,
markets.
ding, 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 ding.
Where we take you around the world of sports and some other happenings in the world in general, I guess. Most of the time it's sports related, but Dan, we've got some video board stuff. We've got some Duolingo stuff on here.
Yeah, Duolingo's on there.
What are we starting with
Shout
today?
out. I want to start off here because this is just an incredible story that was posted on the r/Mid-American subreddit, the Mac subreddit, if you will. Not Reddit CFP, which, by the way, one of my favorite follows on Twitter. I'm not a big Reddit guy, but anything that like happens on Reddit usually will make its way over to Twitter.
Right.
And that's what happened here. And I wanted to talk about this. So this is from user Any Meringue 2340 on r/Mid-American. The title says, I got into a bar fight over an Eastern Michigan shirt in Manhattan, Kansas. I want to read this to you. I went to a K-State bar in Manhattan last night wearing a very generic shirt that just read Eastern Michigan football. I was talking to this guy. We were chatting. He kind of goes off the rail. At some point, he says, and this guy's wearing a high school shirt. And he said, I was dumbfounded. He said it like an insult after we were being friendly. I just say Eastern Michigan is a Division I school and start to go on about my business. Dude did not like that, and for whatever reason, I entertained it and got into an actual fight over it. Needless to say, I won because I have the Mac on my back. After I was kicked out of, quote, Tubby's, I go around and ask a couple of other guys in the bar district what they think of Eastern Michigan is. Everything was a retold response of that sounds like a high school. I don't know if it's just K-State. I've heard they aren't the smartest, and they really didn't seem like it, but I feel any fan of college sports would know at least about the gray turf and Max Crosby. I've never set foot in Ypsilanti or Michigan, and I am not an Eastern Michigan fan.
Okay, I just want to know how he obtained the shirt.
I don't know.
K-State fans acting this way is not shocking.
No, it's not shocking, and he sniffed that out right away, right, when he said they aren't the smartest?
Oh, man. No disrespect to Jimmy Kaufman, one of our great interns here at Union Broadcasting.
Maybe the brightest of the bunch.
Yes.
Out there in
nice
Manhattan.
Guy.
How do you not know? That actually is a really good question. But he said, needless to say, I won because I have the Mac on my back.
I love
it.
I love that his final sentence is, I've never set foot in Ypsilanti or Michigan, and I'm not an Eastern Michigan fan.
He just had an Eastern Michigan shirt.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do K-State people not know what Eastern Michigan is?
Right.
I mean, that's a really good part. Like, you don't know who Max Crosby is? Like, he's probably the best.
If you are even the slightest college football fan,
also,
you have to know about Eastern Michigan.
What high school is named Eastern Michigan?
Maction. Right.
What high school is named Eastern Michigan?
Right.
Like, it'd be like Eastern, city name. Not Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan High School doesn't even make any sense whatsoever. I'm getting a phone call from Shea Wildeber.
How about that?
I'll call him back in the break.
No, you can take it.
No, I don't think that's fair. But shout out to this guy for having the Mac on his back and wearing. I mean, that is actually crazy. That nobody knew what Eastern Michigan was. K-State fans, they're so pompous and arrogant because they think there's some big national brand when they're not at all. Like, nobody cares. Nobody really knows about them, and they're like, "Oh, what's Eastern Michigan?" I don't know.
Elijah, what did I say about this segment?
You guys are the most. They're the most What are they? What are they? Maybe the sixth most noted Wildcat in Division I sports.
What do you think about Wildcats as an animal?
What do you think about Wildcats as an animal? Hey, stocks up on nightmares. This is fun. I saw this on the New York Post and a couple of other places. Apparently, there was a high school.
An actual high school.
An actual high school, not Eastern Michigan High School. A actual high school in Arkansas. There was a player from Maumelle High School who spent an entire 2-hour practice with a, let's see, how long was this? Oh, it was an hour with a rattlesnake in his helmet.
That gives me the creeps, man.
Isn't that horrible? A 2-foot-long cottonmouth rattlesnake.
Do we have any other photos of this?
I should have given Elijah one because there is a photo that I'm looking at right now.
But you can only barely see the snake in the photo.
Yeah, you can't really see it. But shout out to this kid. He probably was he probably thought I don't even know what you would possibly think was going on there. But this kid had a 2-foot-long rattlesnake
crazy.
Stuck in his helmet, practiced the entire time, took it off, looked down. Oh, hey, by the way, there's a snake in there. Apparently they put the helmet underwater to get this, try to flush the snake out. Maumelle Animal Services arrived to take custody of the animal. So the animal is okay, but
it's a cottonmouth that
terrifying.
Is dangerous and tends to slither into dark, closed spaces.
Which makes sense.
Oh, my God. Now I feel like I need to check everything that I ever put on my body extra.
Oh.
That is frightening.
How do you...
Are you a snake guy?
Not even
Would you ever hold a snake? Have you ever done, all those people who put them around their neck?
I actually have a scar on my finger. I got bit by a snake one time.
Really?
Yeah. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. It's on my thumb.
Huh.
Right there.
Interesting.
It's a scar from it was a little baby gardener snake. I was in freshman in high school, but it's still there. I'm not a snake guy.
Venomous snake.
Not a snake guy
Wriggling
whatsoever.
around
I
in
don't
his
like
helmet.
snakes. I don't like spiders. I don't like bugs.
That's crazy, man.
You bring a caterpillar up to me, and I'll slap you. I don't like any bugs. I don't like any snakes. Nothing of the sorts. I probably would. Every time I put my helmet on, again, I'd be like.
I like this comment. If you can't handle a poisonous snake in your helmet, you aren't going to be able to handle a trip to a hostile away crowd on a Friday night in Georgia. Arkansas high school football player. Man, what
Shout
a
out.
weird story. Yes,
Man.
very unlikely that happens.
Very unlikely. Stocks down on France. I don't have a lot on this, but this is just crazy. France's reserve team, they lost by 38 points to Murray State in a exhibition game. Basketball.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's not good. Now, they didn't have Wemby or Alex Sarr or Zachary Rezaiche.
Oh, my God. Rezaiche, the number 1 overall pick.
Number 1 overall
God,
pick.
what a weak class
maybe
that was.
Maybe he was on their reserve team. I don't know. But France's essentially second team lost by 38 points to Murray State.
Do we know any of the players on this team?
I don't.
No, I'm looking at the
think
box score right
so.
now. Oh, Gershon Yabusele, or how do you say that? He's the guy that the Sixers signed, I think.
Yakuba Awatra.
Anyway, yeah.
But
Murray
anyway,
State, man, putting the hurt on.
In the opening quarter, it was 27-5. And then at halftime, it was 62-25.
Yeah, Yabusele plays. Okay, now he plays for Panathinaikos of the Greek Basketball League.
Okay.
Didn't he play? Yeah, he played for the Knicks. Played for the Knicks and the Bulls. Yikes. On the receiving end of a beatdown from the Racers.
Moving on. Stocks down on Daktronics. Not only because they spent a lot of money funneling it to
this
Kawhi
is classic,
Leonard.
Classic
This is
stock market
Yeah,
stuff.
we have a video of this. A new Jumbotron scoreboard is being put up in O'Fallon Township High School. And we have the video here. Let's just go ahead and play it. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Really, honestly, thankfully, nobody was hurt. Because that's high up there, but the cord snapped.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it looked like the cord that it was on snapped. It goes vertical and then falls directly on. It said the basketball court was damaged and the entire Jumbotron just broke into pieces.
Oh, my God. I keep looking at the workers that are standing around this. I'm surprised at their lack of jumping. I mean, they kind of just were like, oh, well, that just fell.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. That's
they're one guy
pricey.
ran away, but there's the guy in the front is just kind of
yeah. He's like, well,
dang,
scoreboard just fell.
Oh darn. Yeah. Oh
That's
boy.
an expensive gaff.
Hey man, maybe he's getting paid by the hour. He's like, thank God.
Jeez.
I don't know, man. That is tough. You got to know the athletic director is probably watching that video and
man. I'm just glad it's on video because they started the video, I'm sure, to be official, or as Jack Ritter would say, official hanging of the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And ends up with that.
See Jack Ritter.
Yeah, Jack Ritter with the
shout out to Jack.
Yeah.
Hey, stocks down on our childhood. Russell Westbrook officially
can you believe that?
retired after 18.
This is usually when you start the one more year thing.
One more year.
Russ Westbrook, man.
I need him to go one more year because of the fact that I have a bet with a buddy of mine. Shout out to Garrett Stout. I made this bet with him in 2014. And I said Russell Westbrook will win an NBA Finals in his career.
Yeah, what are you going to lose? Because he ain't coming back.
It was a $100 bet. And I said, by the time he retires, I'll probably have a good job and be able to spare $100. I don't really have $100 to spare right now. But I genuinely thought, I was like, okay, he's going to bounce around and he's going to get one. He's got to get one. Scott Pollard got one with the Celtics. You know what I mean? That happens.
Sviatoslav Mikhailuk got one with the Celtics.
Yeah. That happens. Guys bounce around at the end of their careers. LeBron's trying to ring chase right now with the 76ers. I just figured that would happen. And it was really close with the Denver Nuggets. But unfortunately, I have to call up my good buddy Garrett and pay him
that
$100.
2008 UCLA team. I mean,
Kevin Love
and Danger Russ Westbrook, man. I'm still surprised they lost to Memphis. Maybe I shouldn't be because Memphis was literally 37-1 when KU beat them. Or I guess 38-1 after they beat UCLA.
Yeah.
But man, Westbrook and Love, that team was nasty.
Who's their
first
one loss
ever
to?
time and one of only 2 times that all 4 1 seeds made the Final Four.
Who's their one loss to? Do you know?
Memphis?
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Ooh, that's right.
A little rivalry situation.
Shout out.
Russell Westbrook, though. heck of a career, man. Doesn't he have the most triple doubles, and it's not close?
I think that's
in NBA
right.
history.
Yeah, I mean, granted, towards the end, like in the Nuggets era, like it was very, and especially in the end of his Thunder era, it was like very much like stat padding.
Okay, I guess that it's close because Jokic is on his tail, but yeah,
sure.
Westbrook has 209. Jokic has 198. Oscar Robertson had 181, and then nobody else had more than Magic 138. Fifth on the list is LeBron. I know you remember the LeBron Taraj. He's got 125. Luka's got 90, so that's
not bad.
Pretty good. Josh Giddey has 31. He's a young player.
Shout out to Josh Giddey,
Let's
man.
see who's the weirdest name. Paul Pierce had 9. Lonzo Ball has 8.
That feels low for Paul Pierce.
I could do this all night. Like, you give me a 30-pack of Busch Light and a few hours, I could just roll through and be like, wow, Marc Gasol had 5 career triple-doubles, as did Lance Stevenson.
Okay.
Anyway, shout out to Brody.
Shout out, man. Shout out. Yeah, that was like my childhood, watching those Thunder teams. Like, oh, that's so crazy that they never won an NBA Finals with Durant, Harden, and Russ.
Oh, they were so young.
So young, but so good, so talented. Hey, stock is down on open practices. I don't know if you saw this. Colorado University sent out a email about their media availability and their open practice. And we get these a lot from, shout out to Andy Aish, who does a great job of setting this up and allows us to go out to practice and film things and report on things that we see at practice. I want to read some interesting things from the SID Curtis C. Snyder by way of, I would assume, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Apparently, they said, if you're uncertain whether or not something is reportable, the answer is that it is not. When in doubt, contact the communications office before publishing anything connected to practice. They also said, no documentation, no note-taking of any kind from what you see at practice. Written, typed, dictated, or otherwise. No photography, no videography, no audio recordings, no sketching or diagramming, no live coverage, live posting, or real-time updates of any kind. Also, no reporting. They said the following may not be reported or characterized in any way during or after practice. Injuries, sure. Depth chart, rotational, personnel groupings, offensive or defensive schemes, formations, I get it, trick plays, individual player performance in team or competitive periods, or any tactical, strategic, or personnel information of any kind. They don't want any of that stuff getting out. They also said observation only. Practice is open for viewing purposes only. It is closed for all reporting, recording, or documentation purposes. Nothing observed at practice may be reported, published, posted, broadcast, or otherwise shared in any form on any platform at any time. Also, to even further go on this, no devices, no cell phones, no tablets, no cameras, no video equipment, audio recorders, no smart glasses, anything recording, any recording devices whatsoever. You cannot bring them. You can't bring your cell phone into the open practice for the University of Colorado. Just don't do an open practice.
Absolutely.
I mean, what's the point? Like,
no, there's no point.
Imagine going to an open practice and they go, "Hey, by the way,
you can't even
phones. You can't even talk about
no
it.
Watching it.
No reporting. No reporting." That's the thing that gets me, because reporting is kind of a broad term. So, like, if we would go to a Colorado practice and then we would come back on our show and be like, "Man, I thought Julian Lewis looked good." No,
couldn't do that.
No, siree. They'll rip your credential away. Are you kidding me?
You got to go no open practice.
That's unbelievable. I mean, dude, literally just don't even open practice.
Press conference, no questions.
Right.
No statements, no questions.
Well, how does that make you feel about the state of Colorado football right now?
Yeah, it's not trending upward.
Can't imagine that is trending
That's
upwards
crazy.
whatsoever. Hey, stock's up on Duolingo. This is fun. So there was a woman who tweeted. Oh, I should have the tweet somewhere. She said that apparently her son was 10 years old, had a 301-day streak on Duolingo. Are you familiar with Duolingo?
Yes.
It's a secondary language learning app. Mm-hmm. So you get on there and you can learn Spanish or Mandarin or whatever. This 10-year-old kid had a 301-day streak, but he was hospitalized. And after his hospitalization, he was so upset because he lost his 301-day streak. So this lady reached out to Duolingo, said, "Hey, is there anything you could do?" Duolingo said, "Glad to hear he's recovering. What's his Duolingo username? Let's get that streak going again." They gave it back. That's cool. Amazing. That's so cool. And then some guy,
I like this
L.
comment.
Johansson 777 said, "Hi, Mr. Duolingo. I was hungover last Sunday and lost my 4-day streak. Please help." And Duolingo replied and said, "Get off my page."
That's a win. That's a
I
win for
love that.
social media people.
Shout out to Duolingo.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. Hey, stock's down on 5. Do you want to?
No,
I want-
you can.
You don't.
Jaden
want
Daniels is sending LSU a cease and desist. People have probably heard this for one of their freshman cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
He was
DJ Pickett.
He was promised number 5, and Daniels' lawyer apparently sent a cease and desist for this, saying, "No, this is my number. You can't wear it." Jaden Daniels then came out and he said, "I'm focused on fall camp. I don't want to address it." Basically, what did I miss from that story?
So, Jaden Daniels, like you said, sent a cease and desist. A lot of people are saying it's his mom because his mom has been really heavily involved in all of the different things like that. But essentially, they gave the number 5 to DJ Pickett. And here's the thing. Back when Brian Kelly was the coach, he said, "Hey, we're not going to give you the number 5 because Jaden Daniels won the Heisman here at LSU. We're just not going to give it away." Brian Kelly gets fired. Lane Kiffin comes in, and Lane Kiffin goes, "Yeah, I don't care. Here, have the number 5. You've been wearing it all year, and we like you, DJ Pickett. He's he's like a 4 or 5-star recruit. Here's number 5." Jaden Daniels was like, "All right, well now you cannot use my name, image, and likeness on anything." Also, a report came out from Matt Moscano, who is a publisher at LouisianaSports.net, said that apparently Jaden Daniels' camp wants LSU to return their copy of the Heisman Trophy. They have the Heisman Trophy on display at LSU's facility, and Jaden Daniels is like, "Hey, give that back. You're not allowed to use that whatsoever. You can't use my name, my image, my likeness, my Heisman Trophy. You can't use any of it because DJ Pickett's wearing number 5. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. By the way, DJ Pickett was asked about it, and he said, "Hey, it's the number I was promised. I have no intention of giving away the number 5.
And sweet.
And Sleeper CFP, by the way, they put this out. Last 10 Heisman winners' jersey numbers after they left. So 2016, Lamar Jackson, somebody wound up wearing his number the next year. Baker Mayfield, somebody wound up wearing it 4 years after, which Jaden Daniels would in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 2023. So it's 3 years afterwards, right? Kyler Murray, his number was worn the next year. Joe Burrow, to be fair, nobody's worn number 9.
So that's going to be the one that Daniels is looking back on and is salty about.
Yeah, nobody's worn number 9 since Joe Burrow won it. But Devontae Smith, somebody wore it the next year.
That's
Bryce
a huge
Young,
thing.
2 years afterwards. Caleb Williams, they retired his jersey number. USC did. So there's that. Jaden Daniels, worn on the defensive side. So it's not an offensive player, which, whatever. Travis Hunter, we all know that story. They retired his number. And then Fernando Mendoza this year. Like there's going to be a number, what was he, 12? 15.
15 sounds right.
Yeah, somebody's wearing 15 this year. You don't see Fernando Mendoza making a big fuss about this.
It's
You don't
all
see
it's
Kyler
all
Murray
based
making a
on
big fuss about
Burrow
this.
and the fact that LSU hasn't given anybody 9 since 2019.
But
I
like,
guarantee
I
it.
mean, people don't look at Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels in the same light.
No,
because
not
Joe
yet.
Burrow
Who
was,
knows?
that 2019 LSU team was like the best football team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
At least college football team.
And
And
man,
it's-
people being babies. That's
Whatever.
what it comes down to. There's only so many numbers, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. What
Let's
a
roll
weird
through all
deal.
the numbers. There's 1, 2.
That's our sports stock market
3,
segment for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
4,
We're going to go back to the football
5.
building after this. We're going to hear from a bunch of guys
6.
on that defensive side.
Not 5,
Alex
not 5.
Bray, Blake
Right,
Herold,
not 5.
and Leroy Harris. Coming up next, ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. Welcome back. Hey, let's go back to the KU football building. Alex Bray, one of the defensive ends for KU, expected to have a big impact this year. He spoke to the media earlier this week.
How's your camp going overall so far?
So far, it's good. I think all of us DNs are competing right now. Everyone's doing a good job. We're learning from Coach Dineen, taking what we learned in the film room and taking it to the field. I think is one of the biggest things that we're doing right now, and we're improving every day. So
this year, as opposed to last year, where do you feel like you've taken the biggest step?
I would say mentally, I'd say I have the strength and stuff. It's been there for me. I've been in college football for a while, so just taking what I learned from the classroom, because DN, you have a lot going on, especially at our stud position where you can be from a 3 tech to a 5 out in coverage. So taking what I learned from the classroom and applying that to the field has helped me more, like, so mentally. Yeah.
What does it take to fulfill all those different roles as a stud end? Because obviously, like, you guys have to line up in a lot of different places the way DK does it. So how would you describe the different kind of roles that you're asked to play?
I mean, just being, if you're just physical off the ball, you know what you're doing. There's not too many problems you're going to have going from a 3-tech because you're getting vertical, getting off the ball, just like coming from a 5, you're just moving down one technique. So I wouldn't say there's a lot of differences, but, you know, there is, you know, when you get into the playbook and things, like, you got to know different calls and stuff. So just going mentally is the biggest thing.
You guys have a lot of defensive ends back, and being in year 2 with DK McDonald, just how do you feel like that has sort of helped you guys grow?
You know, with Coach DK being back, you know, now we have our defense. We kind of settled it in, especially with spring, you know, learning what we're going to do this year. I feel like that's helped us a lot, and obviously being in the film room a lot with them, you know, going over plays constantly. You know, we have all of our installs in now, so just taking what he's taught us, going over it again and again and again until we really know. So,
what's it been like watching David develop?
David's a really good DN. You know, good competitor, good guy. He's been making a lot of plays during camp, so it's fun to see him work.
They said he's been playing more of the stud recently. What qualities do you think he has that make him a good fit for your same position?
He's got a good motor. He's got good hands. He's violent. He can get off the ball. He's quick. All that stuff.
As a senior, how do you kind of embrace being more of a leader, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so during spring ball, you know, they kind of pushed, I wouldn't say push, but they wanted a couple guys to step up, and I felt like I took that role, you know, commanding the defense sometimes when it comes to like walkthroughs, making sure that we're all there when it's the DNs, making sure the younger guys are getting extra work, helping them out. So I feel like that's kind of a step I've taken through this past year. So, yeah, that's kind of big.
There's not a lot of guys on the team who fit the description, but you're one of the guys who gets a 5th year that you wouldn't have had before. What's it like kind of knowing that option's available to you?
It's nice. It's nice knowing that I get an extra year. I mean, my mindset hasn't changed. Yeah. You know, I'm still kind of playing like it's my last year, so I'm taking that with me. You know, I have that extra year availability, which is nice. So just playing like it's my last year is kind of the big thing for me.
Obviously, you've been focused, but like, did you know that kind of thing was on the horizon? Were you aware that was something?
Yeah. No, I was talking with the coaches, and I kind of knew that it could be a possibility with playing my freshman year, and that, you know, that it would change to the 5 years, and that I would get that back. So it was kind of on my mind, but I wasn't really thinking about it too much.
A younger guy in the room that we've heard a lot about is Garrett. What's it been like to watch him grow and elevate?
Garrett, love Garrett. Garrett's a ball player. You know, he applies what he takes in the film room from Coach Dineen. You know, he's working every day. Still a younger guy, so, you know, he's got work to do, but he's developing quick, and he's a good physical, fast player.
They've got you listed at 270 or so. Leroy's now in the same range.
Yeah.
What's it been like seeing him put on 30-something pounds?
Yeah, no, I remember when he first came, he was like 230 or something. Yeah, he put on size pretty quick. He's a monster now, so I feel like Leroy's going to do some damage this year. It's good to see what he's done in the weight room, what Sleeve's done with him, you know, how he takes his nutrition seriously. He's done a good job.
Where are you at now weight-wise?
I sit between 270 and 265.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Dineen said the quote of camp, I think, today, big people beat up little people.
Yeah.
Does he talk about that all the time?
Yeah, you know, he talks about, you know, you can't be too small. You know, I'd say last year we were kind of we had some DNs that were smaller, but I would say like our lightest DN is probably like 245. 245. So we're definitely a bigger group. You know, Sleeve's done a good job of putting size on, emphasizing the nutrition. Like, I remember last year we didn't have this, but this year we drink protein shakes right in the weight room when we're done with the workout to make sure that we're putting on size. Like, we take creatine right after, all that good stuff. So that's actually improved our strengths, improved our weaknesses. So yeah.
Well, when you talk about the bigger picture of your role in this defense and that leadership piece, what do you see from the backers behind you and what those guys have done?
The backers, you know, like Trey Lathan, he's done a good job. He's stepped up into a bigger role this year. he's making sure that we're doing extra work. He's making sure the younger guys are getting in what they need to get in. Like if they don't know how to have a question, that he tells them all the time, you can ask any of the older guys questions. We'll help you. So it's fun to see those guys step up into a bigger role this year for sure.
You talked about the size at your position. Obviously, they emphasize putting in size at a lot of different positions too. O-line, D-tackle. Do you are you cognizant of that as you just kind of go through your day that it's a bigger team than it has been?
Yeah, no, it feels good knowing that that we put on size. I remember Slee put on like the board of like the weights from last year to this year, and like the team from every position's at least put on like plus. I can't remember exactly, but I know
he went through a bunch of
he went through a bunch of stuff, and it's crazy to see how far we've come, how much we've emphasized it, because they've been emphasizing the nutrition, drinking the protein shakes and all that stuff. So it's fun to see that.
That's KU defensive end Alex Bray speaking to the media a little bit earlier this week. Now we're going to go to the interior defensive line here for just a bit. Here's Blake Herold earlier this week.
Blake, how's fall camp been going so far for you?
It's been great. I've seen a lot of improvement for myself and also all the guys around me in my position and in our defense as a whole.
What's maybe the biggest area of improvement that you've seen in yourself?
Just being vocal and being a leader, kind of taking on this role. Something I didn't want to do at first in the spring, and then I kind of came back in the summer. I wanted it. I accepted the role, and I kind of took it and ran with it. So I think me being able to be vocal and becoming a leader is helping this defense and this team.
Yeah, Coach Panagos talked about you finding your voice and finding what kind of leadership style works for you. Just what was sort of the process of that, and how'd you describe how you are as a leader?
Just authentic. I'm gonna be me, and if you don't like me, then that's tough luck, I guess. But no, I'm just trying to be super authentic, because if I'm authentic, then people know that I'm genuine and I care about what I'm saying, and they should care about what I'm saying too.
A lot of new guys in the room with Eamon Smalls and Kevin Otis. What are you seeing out of some of the transfers?
A lot of good stuff. Good hands, good feet. There's still some work to do. Of course, it's camp, but as far as like the basics go, I think they've got a lot of stuff down, and the work ethic is there for sure. You see them fighting and straining through stuff, so I think that's really good to see. We'll just have to keep fine-tuning stuff, techniques, and all that kind of stuff, but some good stuff so far.
Obviously, a lot of switching in terms of schemes on the defensive side of the ball. That has to have a lot of communication there. What's the communication like between the defense tackles and the defensive ends on the field?
Always talking, every play. If I'm out there with Marcus or Biggie or Jabril or Kevin, I'm always saying something. I would love for them to say something back to me sometime, but being that leader, I'm okay with being the guy that's communicating. We're going this way, we're doing this. This is a check, whatever. I'm comfortable in all of our defenses. I think I know the playbook very well, so I think me being able to communicate helps us a lot.
Go for it. What have you seen from the interior offensive linemen that you've been going against?
A lot of improvement for sure. Great hands and feet. I've seen a lot of stuff on pass that I'm really happy with going against them on the daily. So,
what's it been like seeing them sort of switch around, experimenting with Tabake and Connor, or Amir even going at center? What's that been like?
It's a lot of change. Connor and Tabake and Amir, all of them rotating around. All of them bring something different to you every time. So them doing that is helping us out as well, giving us different sets and hands and all that kind of stuff. That kind of helps us recognize and be able to rush and transition and work run too and all that kind of stuff.
It's got to be one of the larger interiors that you've faced during your time here at Kansas. Just playing against the team, right?
Yeah, my first year was kind of a gauntlet too. We had a lot of guys that are now in the NFL, so that was a great experience.
Yeah.
But these are some big guys as well, some big physical guys too. So
we heard about Eamon being very intentional. I think they said from the podium, Coach said that he might have gone through 1,000 meetings or something like that. What's it like to welcome in a new guy who is so intentional and so passionate about the finer details of football?
No, it's great. In the spring he was pretty limited, so he would sit in on meetings and he would just listen and get stuff down. But as a new guy coming into a defense with so many multiple different schemes and stuff like that, I think he's adapted very well. I think him coming back and still progressing with his injury, I think he's doing really well. I think he's going to be 100% by game one. You can kind of see it from the start. A limp here and there, but that's kind of gone. He's he's kind of back out to being the biggie that we saw on film when we brought him in.
Coach K is known for his creativity. You know, it's
Yeah.
probably different for a D tackle as opposed to like a corner. But
Mhm.
I mean, going up against all that pre-snap motion, all that different stuff that they do on the offensive side of the ball, how do you think that prepares you for the season?
I think it prepares us well. I mean, I know some other teams that do a lot of shifts and motions, but I don't think anybody does it quite like Coach K does. So seeing that, checking us, like I said, and all of our defenses, every time there's a shift or motion, you got to communicate that. So, I mean, he's doing a great job shifting and motioning and running all sorts of crazy stuff out of there, getting us ready. And we've seen just about all you can see. So when we go to game week, I think we'll be prepared for whatever that offense throws at us.
Big things expected out of defensive tackle Blake Herold, the pride of Shenandoah, Iowa. He had great coming on last year. Last year, of course, a lot was expected out of Withers and Dunn, Dan, but it was Blake Herold who kind of rose to the occasion toward the end of the season, and he needs to be a big factor like we spoke of. A guy we are very confident will be a big factor this year off the edge, Leroy Harris, a guy who could be, I don't know, third, second, first-round draft pick in the NFL draft. I have to wait and see. He's got that NFL body.
1-1 overall.
1-1 overall. Let's do it. Hey, why not?
Hey,
right?
Las Vegas Raiders, you got your guy.
Leroy Harris a little bit earlier this week.
What's your fall camp been like so far?
It's been good. Just been trying to get better every day, you know.
What are the main things you're trying to work on?
Just my all-around game, whether it be the pass rush, setting the edge, sparking gaps, just trying to be a master of my craft, work on my details.
What have you learned from Coach Dineen? We've noticed you guys doing some one-on-one work occasionally. What are some big things that he's taught you this fall camp?
Being intentional with where I strike my hands, hand placement's a big thing, pad level, of course. Just those two things I got to continue to work on, just continue to be, like I said, master of my craft.
Coach Dineen talked about tapping into that fire, igniting the fire. Does that come a little bit naturally to you, or do you feel like sometimes he helps you get into that mode, or how does that work for you?
It definitely, I mean, playing football, everyone kind of has that inner drive, but I'd say that he does a great job with working with us, with everybody in the room, just making sure our head's on straight every day, to get out there, find one thing to work on every day and work on that.
You have to maybe kind of balance that between being intentional, really focusing on what you're trying to do technique-wise versus that aggressiveness that you need to have.
You definitely have to be intentional. You got to make sure you do your job first. Don't hurt the team. Coach DK, the defense coordinator, make sure to say play fast, play violent, but play on the line, play on the edge, but don't hurt the team is most important. So you always got to worry about doing your job as well as having that fire under you.
Coach Sleeve talked a lot about the growth, just physically, of a lot of the guys in terms of getting faster, getting bigger, getting stronger. I mean, have you seen your personal progression and then maybe the progression of some of the guys also in the defensive in room?
I feel like we've all gone. Coach Sleeve was definitely just. We said that we want to be a bigger football team this year, and we've done that. We've trained over the last 6 months to get bigger, stronger, faster, and I think we've done that for sure.
What's it been like going through fall camp at a much heavier weight than you did last time?
I feel like it just came with the maturity of me getting, another year older. I'm still getting to wherever I want to be if I will, God willing, be able to get to the next level. So it's honestly been about the same, but just, it's only helped me so far, I've noticed.
What have you seen from some of those tackles on the other side of the ball?
They definitely switch up their sets. They're doing a lot of good things over there. They're getting better, getting ready for the season. I think we got a couple new guys. You got Nick Moore over there, and you got just going across the line. You got Connor Stroh over there. You got some new bodies over there, new faces, but they're definitely working on their sets, working on their craft, just like we are.
I was over there the other day. Coach Dineen was trying to get you to break the sled, essentially, take some bolts off of it. That's something that he's tried to get you to do in the past.
No, he was real excited about that sled, though. I'll tell you that. We did have him to break it. They had to come and repair it, but it was just working on that violent hand striking. So that's not something. If you can break the sled, that's a great thing. But just being violent with your punch and everything,
That's Leroy Harris. He's kind of turned into the man of the hour for KU football, perhaps KU's best NFL draft prospect. Excited for him this upcoming season. All right, we're going to have all sorts of coverage, like I said, tonight at the Corinth Square kickoff. Really pumped for that. We've got all sorts of fun things are happening in Prairie Village. You got Big J, Baby J, you got vendors, family-friendly activities, players, coaches, guests. Coach Leipold will be out there. Coach Fitz will be out there. And, it should be a lot of fun. Bring the whole family, 6 to 9 p.m. tonight here very shortly, Prairie Village, for the KU kickoff at Corinth. All right, after this, continue our Big 12 record forecast outlook as we look at the Baylor Bears. That's next, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. With Jayhawk Checking from Central Bank, Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card, a simple way to show school spirit every day. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. Learn more about Jayhawk Checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. That's jayhawkchecking.com. Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. Central Bank tonight will be partnering with KU Athletics for the KU kickoff at Corinth Square. Find us on socials at the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Kansas Nation on Facebook. Should be an awesome event. I'm going to be out there along with Alex Daggy and Bethany Bowman, a couple of our colleagues over at Sports Radio 810 WHB. So excited for that. Should be a good time. Coach Leipold, Coach Fitz, some players, and others. All right, let's dive back into our Big 12 record forecast segment that we started a little bit earlier this week. We are now at the Baylor Bears. Of course, Dave Aranda, a guy who has been around a while. He's had some success, but he's had some downtimes as well.
Yeah.
Seats a little warm, I'd imagine, heading into this season.
Yeah. Former Big 12 champion, Dave Aranda. Yeah, I would imagine. I think that if this season doesn't go quite as planned for the Baylor Bears, I think that it's definitely going to be talked about for Baylor in terms of seeing if they can get rid of Dave Aranda. Let's go ahead and roll through this. I know we're up against the end of the show. They start off the season Saturday, September 5th against Auburn. It is going to be in Waco on ABC at 2:30. I think Baylor gets their doors blown off them by Auburn. Auburn's not even going to be that good. But I do not have faith in Baylor this year. And then you'll see this trend as we go along for this. They beat Prairie View A&M. They beat Louisiana Tech. So they start off in the non-con 2-1 after a loss to Baylor or loss to Auburn, wins over Prairie View A&M and Louisiana Tech. They beat Colorado to open up Big 12 conference play. It's going to be in Waco. Then they go out to Tempe and lose. They have TCU in Waco. Stop laughing at me. They have TCU in Waco. They lose that one.
How about that? They lost
Kansas
that one as
well. Hosts Baylor for the first home game in Big 12. I'm going to say Kansas wins that one. I think Kansas wins that one. Then they go to UCF. I actually think that Baylor winds up clipping UCF, and they clip Iowa State as well. But then they go on a 3-game losing streak to
Have you
end
kept
it.
track
So
of the
there's
records?
loss, win. So it's 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4, 5-5.
Yes, you had 5-4, and then at BYU.
And then they go at BYU, lose. Texas Tech, loss. Houston, loss. 5-7 season. Dave Aranda, canned, kicked to the curb.
Wow, well done. And Kansas at this point of our record forecast is?
Let's see. I guess they'd be 5-0, right?
4-0.
Well, no, but then they also beat. Because I'm just going to say they beat Long Island, they beat Mizzou, and then they wind up beating Middle Tennessee as well.
No, I was saying with the Big 12 though. They're 4-0
Big 12. Big 12. They're 4-0 in conference play right now. That's just the way it's shaking out.
Well, it's crazy how that works out. Yeah, more on that. Hope you guys are really enjoying that segment as we again predict Kansas to go 12-0 in football this season. Big shout out and thanks to Elijah Schmidt and Tyler Brewer behind the cameras today. For Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying, I'll see you tonight over at the KU kickoff in Corinth Square. And make sure you're tuned in all weekend long for socials. We got the alumni match for KU Volleyball tomorrow as well. And we'll be back on air Monday from 4 to 6. Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.